now, I'm going to invite our third partnership, Mervyn Lowe from Cavendish Primary School and David Long from Waters Imperial Trust. These two gentlemen are going to share a very powerful story of what it means to change position. Because you cannot create a story of us and a story of now and not be willing to change position. And over to you, gentlemen.
Thanks so much, Mfuso. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful evening. I think that we've been looking forward to David. We've got so much. I wonder if the 10 minutes is going to be, but nonetheless, I think we have to abide by the rules. And I think without further ado, I would love to start. My name is Mervyn Lowe. Before I came to Cavendish Primary School, I've been working with the Department of Education. And I've been going around schools. I had the opportunity to see how schools are operating. I think there's about plus minus, 48 schools in our district. And to move around from school to school. And then there was always this deep yearning within myself to go back to school. I never wanted to be but I had to go via the route so that I can become a principal. It's just the bureaucracy. Sorry to say, I hope there's no IDSOs here. And then I'm going to lose my job. But nonetheless, prior to the Department of Education, I have been a deputy principal at Grootveld School. That's an LC school, a school for learners with special educational needs. And I always wanted to be back to school. So I had to go via a long route. And then I ended up at the district. And then from the district, I made my way back to school again. So I went to this little school called Cavendish Primary School, a school in Eldorado Park. And the socio-economics of the school is not that great. There's a lot of challenges, in Eldorado Park. I think you've heard and you've read over the news, especially with all the certain things that, not caused because people are concerned about the situation within Eldos. The school was a small school with 590 learners. And we are standing now at 940 learners. So the school has really, really grown. Not because that I am at the school, but I think also I must give credit to my predecessors that has been there. Now this is a beautiful little school for the people that have also visited the school and came over to us. It's really a school that is, there's a lot of shrubs, there's a lot of trees. It's really a beautiful school. And I think that is what turned me to go to the school. Cavendish Primary School has never had problems in terms of, I think I can take you now to our school and you will be able to eat from the floors of the toilets because of the pride that some of our groundsmen and some of the people have at our school. But there was just that one particular thing and element that was missing. And before I'm going to go into all of the other, because I can talk and you can hear that I can talk, and David will be standing here the whole night. And I just want to thank him. I also want to thank my wife. I also want to thank Mr. Pinar. He's my neighbor. He's opposite the other school, a gentleman that's sitting on his hand. So I also want to thank him for coming out, because he will be joining Partners for Possibility, and I just wanted to give him some feel of what it is. And he just started the journey. So Mr. Pinar, to my wife Elvina, my beautiful wife Elvina, I need to say that. That's also in the house, and I want to thank you. I'm going to give over to David. I've learned so much from the man, but you'll learn later after David. Thanks so much, Dave.
Thanks, Mervyn. As you can see, one of the things I've had to learn a lot about this year is my listening skills. So just briefly about me, I'm with the Imperial Motors Group, and between ourselves and our Ukamba Trust, we put somebody onto this program, and I stuck my hand up because I attended one of these ceremonies that you're attending here, probably about 5-6 years ago. And it's something that stuck with me from that time to now, that said one of the only ways we're going to really make this country better is through changing the education system. But I'll talk more about that later. I think let's maybe get on to what happened during the course of this year and some of the challenges that we faced. I think I'm going to hand back to Mervyn just to talk a little bit more about the school, but maybe a little bit more about the challenges in the school, Mervyn.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Dave. Starting just before I started Partners for Possibility with Symphonia, And how I got on the program, Mr. Abrams, we have just received the library to the vicinity in 2017 of I think 1.7 million rand in a media center. And the reason why they gave it to our school is because those guys would come unannounced and come and visit your school, and they will just come. So there's no time for window dressing. And they also told me this, that that's the reason why you guys have received the library and the media center. So when they came and they said, towards the end of the year, he also said that, you know, there's another bonus as well. And we also want to know if it is possible, would you love to go with Partners for Possibility? And I shouted and I screamed, I said yes, because I heard from other people, yeah, it's about, you know, Lotto's going to give you money. Absa Bank is going to give you money. And all those other things going to happen to you. And that's the reason why I joined. But I think when we started on this journey, and that is where I discovered, you know what, Mervyn, this is not what it is all about. And I was never a person also, you know, to go and stand cap in hand. And this particular program has also challenged me in that regard. Now, in our staff room, I had a staff that was really not committed in terms of they don't want to speak out. The SMT, it was only my voice and my voice all the time. And people are stifled in the staff room. People don't want to talk up. But when you go to the corridors, people will start to talk. And that was problem number one. The other thing was also, you know, teachers used to not go in class on time, which I've also noticed. And then was attested to weak management, the school management team. The other thing was also there was a lack of support from parents. It's just a thing with our parents that our parents don't want to come to meetings. They don't want to get involved, so you become like a dumping ground. And that is a challenge that I faced on a daily basis. Now, the nature of myself is I got very frustrated with these things because I really wanted to change these things overnight. I think the colleagues would attest that when I came in to Partners for Possibility, they could hear how I really wanted to just change everything. And they said, just be calm. Things will happen as you're going to go along. And then, of course, also, the other thing that we also struggled with, learners were also coming late because they were traveling from afar. They either use buses, and most of our learners come from the outside and from other, you know, neighboring places. So they end up coming late to the school. And this was a great frustration for me because I think some part of me is also that I'm a perfectionist, that I really want to see things going according to how it should be. And I think those things, seeing those things every day was a great frustration. And I think God knows in terms of why I needed to come to Partners for Possibility, so that I would be able to just to calm down, and so that I would be able to learn a little bit more, and just take things, you know, as they come and work it. And I think the workshops attended has really put me back onto the rails again, because I got really frustrated with you know, the things that I saw. So I'm going to give over to David, and I think David is just going to speak in terms of how he got me back to track.
Thanks, Mervyn. So some of the things that we did were some of the more practical things that you could do in the school. And one of those was actually sprucing up the school, getting it repainted. And that part of that was getting the community, the teachers, the parents, and everybody else of that involved in doing that. But the other thing that we really spent more time on was how to get the teaching staff and Mervyn's engagement with the teaching staff into a much better place. And that involved having quite a number of workshops with the teachers during the course of the year, with the management team. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen is how Mervyn has changed during the course of the year through his interactions with the Partners for Possibility team, but in how he interacts with his leadership team at the school, how he interacts with the teachers, and to be able to leverage all of that into a much better place. So I think that for me, that's the best output that we could see out of that, is a principal that's much more engaged and in control of the school and able to lead it in a better place. In terms of that, Mervyn, do you want to maybe talk to what you got out of the program?
Thanks so much, Dave. I think when we started, this is what Mfuso said, and I've been watching David all along. Now, David has got a very calm demeanor. And also some, you know, when I invited him to come to the school to take some of the meetings over, the school management team meetings, the parental meetings, and then also, you know, meetings with the staff, he's just got that calm demeanor. And that is, you know, in terms of one of the workshops that we have attended, listening skills. Now, David, you know, sometimes let me rather say, I do that mistake. I would want to attack you. So I would listen, but not really listening to you in terms of how I'm going to formulate my sentence so that I can attack you after it. With the result is you miss out what the other person is saying. Now I watched David, and David was very tactful. So a person would complete his sentence without David budging in. And sometimes, you know, the silence, when there's silence, you become a little bit uncomfortable. And you start switching here and switching there. But I watched David, and he would urge the people to say, what more do you want to say? I didn't even notice that. But nonetheless, I take away from the program the ability to apply the skills that we have learned. Especially also from the listening, you know, the time for listening, that I've learned so much from. We consult every day within our offices. People that walk in, and I thought consultation is just with business people. But you know, people walk into our offices every day. And when they want to walk out, you want to see shiny eyes. And that is what, you know, what the program has meant for me. And also in terms of getting other people along, to come and work along with me, so that we would be able to take Cavendish to be the best school in El Dorado Park. Thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening.
So I know we're over time, but I've just got to finish my little piece about what I learned out of this. And this is for the people who are business partners here. I think one of the things coming onto this program as a person in business is that you think that if you're in business, you're going to be able to come and teach people in schools like really how they're going to do stuff. And one of the things that I've shared with the group, and definitely a learning to take out of this, is that being a principal in an education system is a much more complex task than I think any line manager in any organization. You have to deal with so many different facets, from dealing with school kids to dealing with teachers, heads of department, parents, and this whole department that I think not any of them can understand, and definitely I can't understand either. So for me, I have huge appreciation for the fact that the principals in our group and the way that we interacted with them is absolutely fantastic. We had a bunch of great principals to learn from in that, and I take heart from that there are so many good people, teachers, principals out there that are actually working in the education system. So for me, it's been a great journey from that perspective, and yeah, that was the goal that we set ourselves, is to get more of those trophies that Mervyn needs on his wall.
You definitely will, David.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.